Good evening, YouTube. DutyRon checking back in from the studios here in New York with another video. And tonight we're going to talk about the new interview with California City Police Chief John Walker. Today, Perla Shaheen from KGET did a upload. She uploaded a video from an interview that she conducted with the California City Police Chief on Orrin and Orson West. They were reported missing December 21st, 2020, by Trezell and Jacqueline West from their California City home. We're going to go over what new information, if any, and um, I feel like some information was reconfirmed, but there really wasn't much new information, um, in the in this upload. So it is what it is. We're going to go over it. We're going to talk about maybe some of the things that you guys maybe picked up on it. Some of the things that I picked up on this interview. I think it's leaving all of us obviously with still a lot of questions. But I really love that the police chief is being transparent. He's making himself available. I was, you know, uh, at some point in the past was hoping to get an interview with him, but I know that the local media there is all over him. So it is important that he deals with his local people first and foremost. So it's all good. We're going to just look at this video quickly. It's 24 minutes long. So if you haven't seen it, if you're outside the country, this might help you. For those of you who have seen it, then this might not be helpful to you. But thank you so much, 411 now, for the super chat. Thank you for paying respects to you for the hard work, paying respects to you for the hard work. Let me scroll that back. Thank you, Will, for the super chat. For you, Ron, paying my respects to you for the hard work you have put in on this case and every other case. Thank you, Will. You do a fantastic job yourself on your channel. So much love and respect to you and your people, and thank you for always recommending me. And I recommend that everyone goes over and checks out Will's channel, 411 now. He does a lot of great stuff, and he verifies and vets everything that he speaks about. That's what I like about a gentleman like him. Anything that he speaks about, he has full knowledge of it and makes sure that everything is verified. So it's all good with 411 now. So a special thank you to my Patreon supporters, my channel members, and all people who support this DutyRon channel through your positive interaction. It is greatly appreciated. Let's get right into this interview. Perla asks a lot of good questions of Chief John Walker, and like I said, he's got his hands full. He's conducting an investigation of two missing kids that is now not only nationwide but worldwide. Terry, thank you for becoming a channel member. So again, saying hello to my Patreon supporters, the channel members, and all of the moderators and great people who support me. All the new subscribers, people outside the country, the Netherlands, the UK, Australia, South Africa, the Netherlands, New Zealand, Japan. You guys are fantastic. Thank you so much for coming in. Put another prawn on the Barbie from Queensland, Australia. Nancy Allen is here. Lou, UK. Thank you for being a channel member. Boxing MMA from Ireland. Thank you so much for being in here. The chat, even though slowed it down, is going fast. All right, so let's take a peek at this. There is some information that Chief Walker was kind enough to share with us. Perla, I'm going to link her social media down below in the description after this live is over. Perla does a great job. She's a fairly new reporter, but she does a great job of asking the tough questions. She has it on her iPhone. She's looking through the iPhone and she asks them a lot of stuff. Vinny from Gilroy, thank you so much. Giovanna, thank you for the $4.99 super love. Thank you for that. All right, let's get into it without further ado. Here's Perla. This is the full interview of Chief John Walker from. She uploaded it today. I don't know if she did it yesterday, but it was uploaded on KGET today. So let's listen in to this interview. She asks some really good questions.
For joining me today. I know you're busy with this investigation and with a lot of other things going on in California City. So I'll get straight to the point. I got some questions from people on Facebook and via Messenger just asking about this investigation on the two boys missing in California City. And I wanted to go through them with you. Some of them I couldn't include all of them, but here are a few of them. The first
Okay.
question: are the boys alive?
I have no reason to believe they're not at this time. Again, I've said it through this whole thing. I remain absolutely optimistic that they're alive, and I have to believe that unless I find some sort of proof or evidence of that it's different.
And what might have happened to the boys? What scenarios are possible in this situation?
There's 1,000 different scenarios that you know. Let your imagination run wild. What I do truly believe is that night there's no way that they could have got out of that the neighborhood without some sort of assistance from an adult. That's my belief.
And so, in past situations with missing cases, is that usually the case that it's someone familiar that is involved in the investigation or something like that?
Um, it's always situationally driven, and I can't point fingers. I mean, we always start from the inside out, of course. The people closest to them, the people who've seen them last. That's who we start with. We always look at family first, especially with kids that young. We have to. And then it branches out from there depending on which way the evidence goes. But we can only work with what we're given.
And earlier, I know in our first interview in front of the house on Aspen Avenue, you said that you suspected foul play. And do you still think that, and why or why not?
Absolutely. It goes back to I personally believe that there's no way those kids got out of that neighborhood without some sort of assistance. So if there was an adult that assisted them or took them out of the neighborhood, that would constitute foul play.
So, exactly, what constitutes foul play? It doesn't necessarily mean abuse. It just it means
Foul play means that someone has taken the children and not divulged to their parents where they're at. That's just, I mean, we'll start basic 101 right there.
someone
And
else got involved in the.
somehow, someone, absolutely. Again, if I believe that they didn't get out alone, so someone had to have done that and has not reported to us because everybody I would imagine, at least in the nation now, knows we're looking for these kids, has not reported it, then that would constitute foul play because the only people those kids are supposed to be with are their parents.
So, right now, are there any persons of interest?
Oh, there's dozens of persons of interest. We have nobody specific. We have no specific suspects, no specific people. No one's been charged. We brought no charges so far. But again, we're continuing the investigation. I know a lot of people believe we've given up. That's not true. We still get leads. We still get clues every day that we follow up on if they're viable. I can't. If someone says, "Hey, we saw them at the Rite Aid yesterday at 10 o'clock in the morning," am I going to send somebody over there to review the cameras from yesterday at 10 o'clock in the morning? Absolutely, I'm going to. If somebody says, "Well, I think they're near the water somewhere," I can't follow up on that. I need specifics. So I need a direction to go. I just can't spin in a circle or have my people spin in a circle looking on a maybe or I think or I thought. But if you give me a specific place and a time or a specific person to talk to, we're still doing that. And it's not just us.
And going on
Yeah.
that, as you say, that you're still working on this investigation, still,
I have dedicated resources in my department. Uh, Bakersfield has dedicated resources in their department. We've got the FBI involved. We've got the Kern County Sheriff's involved. We've got the Kern County District Attorney.
All right, I want to stop it right there, just so I can just let you guys know this is exactly what myself, retired New York City police detective, a retired sergeant, homicide sergeant Bill Cannon. This is the things that we've been talking about. Most of you have sent me messages and have asked me and have said because of misinformation that Bakersfield PD is not assisting, that the FBI is not assisting. You're hearing it right now from the police chief in California City that he has assistance from Kern County. He had helicopters up that night. He's got all the support. All he has to do is ask for it. And here you're hearing it straight from the chief. He's telling us that the FBI has given them support and has given them investigative support. I guarantee you, like we said in previous live streams, they're providing forensics and all types of CSI type stuff without giving you legal mumbo jumbo. The FBI has the premier resources and personnel to do this type of stuff, and that's what they're doing. So I just wanted to stop that so you can hear. I'll roll it back.
Involved. There's still has dedicated
working on this investigation. Still,
I have dedicated resources in my department. Bakersfield has dedicated resources in their department. We've got the FBI involved. We've got the Kern County Sheriff's involved. We've got the Kern County District Attorney involved. There's still a ton of people working on this. We have not by any means given up.
So recently it was the 2-month anniversary of when the boys went missing. And I know it's been a while. And I've asked you this a few times because every time we speak, it seems like the days get longer and days turn into months. Is it possible that this case will go cold and that we'll never know what happened to these boys?
Of course it's possible. I mean, anything is possible, but go cold, that would mean that we'd stop looking or we'd stop following up on clues, and that's not going to happen. We will continue to follow up on any clues. We will continue to do the follow-up until we know something different. So there's a lot of semantics involved there. Cold case, what does that mean really? A cold case is never really cold. It's just not being actively investigated. I've got 8 cold cases here at California City as we speak, and they're all being investigated on a daily basis. So, that's a TV term, I think.
Okay. I know the city is voting tonight, or they're deciding in the city council meeting to renew the reward money for anyone who can find the boys. And I know they're planning to do that consistently. They're trying to keep that money for any missing persons case. Even if we find Orrin and Orson West, they might extend that money to other missing persons cases as well. So it seems, that the city and that you are still, actively trying to pursue missing persons cases, even the ones that there's currently 8 cold case or not cold cases, but previous missing persons cases still.
No, that's not true. We've only got 2 active missing persons as we speak. We've got 8 cases that we're still investigating. 6 of those are homicides and 2 of them are missing. Now, those are all adult cases.
Okay.
So again, a missing adult doesn't necessarily mean there was foul play. Could there possibly be? Sure. But adults are adults and they're free to go wherever they want to go. And they're not necessarily have to tell anybody where they're going. So someone reports a missing. Okay, we've got an open missing person investigation that goes into our missing persons system. And if anybody nationwide comes in contact with that person, then that will immediately pop up on the database.
So are you starting to think that this case is part of something larger, something like human trafficking, or I know a lot of people ask me about that.
I can't rule that out. I can't rule anything out. Of course it's possible. Anything, until we know different, everything is still in play. So, we need specific facts to prove otherwise.
And so you guys are considering all of these viable options?
Absolutely.
And how certain are you that the boys are not in the Aspen Avenue house? I know when you first did the interview, when you first spoke with us outside that house, that I think it was December 23rd, you told us, the canines smelled the scent of the boys inside the house. They didn't smell it leaving the house. It seems like that would imply that they're still there. And how certain are you that they're not?
Excuse me I have to smile on that. Like, I am 110% certain those boys are not in that house. I've been in there numerous times. We've searched every possible place in that house. I know people believe that there's secret rooms and there's a basement and there's false walls. And we've searched every possible nook and cranny in that house multiple times. And I am absolutely certain we've searched the backyard multiple times. We've searched underground the backyard with different technology multiple times with nothing. The dogs aren't always 100% accurate. We've had the dogs in the house. That night they alerted inside the house, but they didn't alert outside. Doesn't mean anything. We use those as tools that maybe will point us one way or the other. Just like people keep asking about polygraph. Polygraph is not it's not admissible in court. Is it a tool? Sure. Can I believe at some point that maybe that you are being deceptive by the results of the test? Sure. But it's only a tool. It's only a tool to help us go in a certain direction. But right now, we don't have any of that, unfortunately.
So did the adoptive parents take a polygraph test in the beginning?
I can't comment on that.
Is it possible that the boys wandered into the desert that night? I know you suspect foul play, but is that also something you're considering?
If I had to bet my house on it, I would say no, because we searched thoroughly that night. We brought in airship with infrared, no hits. Again, we searched that whole desert a week later within a 5 square mile perimeter around the house. We found nothing. It doesn't mean they're not there, but I am super confident that.
Okay, just for you, those of you who are joining, Huda, thank you so much for the super love. I appreciate that. Airship with infrared is aviation helicopter unit that has technology on it to see if there is a human being or anything. Infrared will pick up heat, body heat, and they did complete 2 to 3 hour grid scans of that location. Probably went back down and refueled and did a second or maybe even a third scan of the desert. Again, the Mojave Desert is right there. So, Police Chief John Walker is confirming that they had the whirlybird, as we call it, the aviation unit was up, and they did an immediate scan of the desert, so and surrounding areas for anybody or anything out there.
That I know.
I know you suspect foul play, but is that also something you're considering?
If I had to bet my house on it, I would say no, because we searched thoroughly that night. We brought in airship with infrared, no hits. Again, we searched that whole desert a week later within a 5 square mile perimeter around the house. We found nothing. It doesn't mean they're not there, but I am super confident that I know little kids are really fast, but I know they have no stamina. So they might take off like a shot, but they're only good for 20 or 30 yards in my experience. But not saying that can happen, but I am super confident they're not somewhere around. I truly believe they just didn't wander off in the desert that night and we haven't found them.
It was also a very cold night. I believe it was. I remember that day. I checked. It was about 30 degrees Fahrenheit.
Right. Again, would slow them down.
Could you explain that infrared technology you just mentioned? What was used?
Yeah, we basically had a helicopter with what they call the FLIR. A FLIR will detect body heat. It's pretty sophisticated. I did have the opportunity in my previous career, law enforcement career, that I got to actually work in a airship, and it's basically like a scope that'll go over any territory, any land, and it'll pick up anything that's got body heat. And adults are generally 97, 98 degrees. It'll pick that up in the dark, and it shows up like a beam, basically.
Wow. So it's a helicopter that goes around and detects body heat, searching for body heat, basically.
It has the ability to do that, yes. Along with other things. They've got the night sun. That's the big, they call it the night sun, the big light, the big search light. But also they're equipped with the FLIR, and the FLIR will pick up body heat.
Okay. And that was sent out the night that they went missing?
It was deployed that night, yeah, to the best of my knowledge.
Was it one or multiple?
I think we had at least one in the air the whole time. I don't know if it was the same one. A lot of times, most helicopters are they're only equipped to be up for 2 to 2.5 hours. So we were out there a pretty long time. So I would imagine they probably switched off at some point.
Yeah.
They went up, they refueled,
There
and
is
went
one
back.
thing, I don't think anyone asked about this, but when I first met the biological mother of the two boys, she had mentioned how one of them had a broken femur. This was a couple of years ago. I know I saw it on the Attorney General's website as well that
Mhm.
Orrin had a broken femur, the biggest bone in the body in his leg. Did the adoptive parents in that interview, did the bone heal at that point? Does he
Yeah,
still?
it had been years prior. I think even prior to them adopting the kids. So that was, to the best of my knowledge, that was ruled as an accident. That there was no, I'm sure there was an investigation done by Children's Services, and they found no misconduct.
Okay. No misconduct with the biological mother?
Yeah, with anybody. I believe, to the best of my knowledge, it was just ruled, an accident, that he broke his leg, he fell down somehow, and he broke his leg. However, that would be a good way to identify. That's a good identifier.
What is the surgery or the?
No, if we located a child that had a broken femur that was consistent with the injury that was sustained by the children, another way to ID the kids.
But
I'm going to stop it right here just for a second. I got to tell you, this police chief is one of the most transparent chiefs that I've heard in recent years. Look at some of the other cases that we've seen, like Suzanne Morphew, missing mom from Mother's Day of 2020. Chaffee County Sheriff gave one interview, one, maybe two, and we're coming up on a year. Mother's Day is coming up in May, and this guy has I've seen many interviews with Chief Walker. So the woman that's interviewing him is Perla. I'm messing up her last name. Is Shaheen? She's from KGET in Bakersfield. She's a professional news reporter. So she's interviewing him via, I believe, Zoom or Skype. So this was uploaded just today. I don't know if it took place yesterday, but this was uploaded today on their website. So very informative, and let's listen to the rest of it.
it's not relevant in this situation because it's already,
No, it has nothing to do with their disappearance. No, not that I know.
okay. But I'm saying it's already healed at this point, so it's not
Yeah,
relevant to this.
yeah, it was a prior injury.
Is it possible that they're with extended family members right now? And have you done anything to pursue that possibility? Question extended family members.
Anything's possible, and we've questioned everyone around them. Again, like I say, we start with the immediate family and work our way out. So we've done our best to question anybody and everybody we think could possibly be related.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how big. It's a pretty big family. So if someone had them, I guess that would be great if they're healthy and they're alive and we can find them. That would be awesome. So again, our best case scenario is we find them healthy and we find them alive.
And I remember that, again, referring to that first interview with you, you had said how none of the neighbors in in that area had seen the boys.
I think I amended that though, because we did have some neighbors that said they never had even seen kids. Now, remember, they had only been there for 3 months, September to December when it occurred. We did find some neighbors that said they had never seen the kids. However, we did find neighbors who did confirm they had seen kids there on the property.
So that was later on. You
Yeah,
some neighbors.
That was actually shortly after. That's why I've tried to amend that multiple times. Initially, we couldn't find anybody who had seen the kids, but we did actually find other neighbors who had actually seen kids there.
So they had seen.
They'd only been there 3 months. COVID, all those things, cold weather, all that can attribute to that. They had a huge backyard with a big fence. So, and here in California City, you've been to the neighborhood. There's large vacant lots between the properties. So.
Yeah. But I have asked you this a few times as well. I know you said the adoptive parents. Is it still true that the adoptive parents are the last people to have seen the kids?
According to the information we received that night from them, yes.
Yeah. There's been no one else that after sightings of the kids ever since.
Multiple that we've all followed up on, but that proved to be false.
So the adoptive parents are considered the last people to have seen the kids. When and where was the last time anyone besides them saw Orrin and Orson?
I believe the grandmothers had seen them prior to. I don't know the exact dates, but the people that we have spoke to had seen them, other than the parents.
The grandmothers. So that was the relative they visited before. It was like recently before they went missing, correct?
Yes.
When do the other children in the family say that they last saw the boys?
I can't comment on any of the interviews that we've had with the other kids.
So you've interviewed the other 4 kids.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And are the Wests still cooperating, Jacqueline and Trezell? Have they retained a lawyer?
Yes, they're still cooperating. I don't know if they've retained counsel or not.
Okay. So you're still in contact with them.
Yes.
I ask, when was the last time they were interviewed?
I think formally interviewed. It's been several weeks.
Are the members of the birth family cooperating as well?
Yes.
And have they retained a lawyer?
Not to my knowledge.
And when was the last time you spoke with them or interviewed them?
I personally, the last time I spoke with the biological mother, we actually spoke. It was a conference call on the day after the boys went missing.
Okay. So it's been quite a while since you last spoke with the biological
mother. Since I personally, yes. Other people have been in contact with her, but I have not.
Okay. Has anyone been instructed not to speak to the media, like the adoptive parents, the biological parents?
Not by us.
Okay.
Not by us. Maybe by their attorneys, but not by us.
Okay. Is there video footage that shows the boys in California City? I know the neighbor across the street had a doorbell camera. I know the neighbor to the left of the house, if you're facing the house to the left, also had a doorbell camera or like surveillance footage of the house. I know police, took that footage and analyzed it. Was there any footage that showed the 2 boys in?
We have hours of footage of that. I can't comment on any of those.
Okay.
Any of that.
Okay. I called initially a few months ago. I know other people have called since regarding the initial 911 call for the 2 boys. I believe from what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, it happened just before 6 p.m., correct?
It happened about 5:45 p.m.
At 5:45.
Well, let me correct that. The initial call for service came in about 5:45. We were on scene. My first officer was on scene within 5 minutes or less. That's the first one. And I think within 10 minutes, I had 4 officers on scene.
Is there a reason why the department won't release the 911 call? I tried to get it and didn't receive.
No, because it's still part of the investigation. It's an ongoing investigation, so we're not going to release it.
I mean, I've received 911 calls from ongoing investigations before, but I guess
we're not going to release it at this time.
Okay. So it's just because it's an ongoing investigation.
That's correct.
The main reason.
Correct. We're keeping it for now.
And I know we've talked about the evidence that you recovered in your searches of the home, around the home, and you had mentioned that none of it really came out with anything important. Could you mention any of the evidence that has been taken, and including forensics, anything that was relevant or important?
At the initial search warrant, we were able to take into custody all the other electronic devices, their phones, their computers, clothes, bedding, items from the backyard, items from the house, anything we thought could possibly be relevant and or lead us to, a conclusion.
So some of the clothes of Orrin and Orson to navigate the scent of them with the dogs and things like that?
Well, and, for all, DNA purposes and all of that.
Yeah. And so those things have helped in terms of that analysis, but it hasn't created any leads for finding.
No, not yet.
And so you did mention, I knew this, that you took the phones of the two parents just a day or two after the two boys went missing.
Actually,
Um,
next day.
yeah, it was the next day. I remember talking to them and they mentioned, the police took our phones. We can't share contact information or anything. Jacqueline West had mentioned having photos of the boys on her phone that she couldn't share because police had taken her phone. Did you find anything significant on those phones? Did you find any pictures of the boys?
Yeah, we found pictures, but nothing else that I can disclose.
Is there a reason why no more pictures of the boys have been released so far? I guess the police department doesn't have access to those photos.
I no longer have access to those photos. No, those actually were taken by the FBI.
Okay, so he just tells us right here that the FBI, and exactly what I said before, the FBI forensics lab, the computer crimes lab, the computer forensics lab is who took the phones, any electronic devices, computers, iPads, any anything, everything and anything. California City Police, they're not geared up to do that kind of forensics. New York City Police Department is a 40,000 member police department. We do that in house. We don't need the FBI, but we're huge. We're the largest police department in the United States, right behind LAPD. But Cal City did not have access to the photos. The FBI crime lab took them. They took whatever was off of those phones, and the police are not in the business of sharing photos. So it's up to the adoptive parents to put out updated photos, and that's just showing that Jacqueline Trezell chose to not update any photos because they have their tech back. All of the information on those phones and all the evidence on those phones are it's already recovered by the FBI. So that being said, that being said, Chief answers some good questions here.
By the
That's all.
FBI.
Mhm.
But the parents have since gotten the phones back.
I believe they have new phones now.
They have new phones. Wow. So the FBI just took their phones and
I believe they gave them back, but they have new phones.
you don't have access to any more recent photos of the boys. Is there a reason why Jacqueline hasn't released those photos to the public? I know a lot of people are looking for more recent photos of Orrin and Orson.
I can't speak to what her thought process is or what she's choosing to do or not to do.
Okay. And lastly, what can community members do to help in this search right now? Should they be searching in Bakersfield, in California City? Where's kind of an area?
Wherever they think that we're going to turn up these kids, I'm not going to turn down. I've said it multiple times. I'm not going to turn down any help. Anything they want to do to help us locate these kids is great. But the majority of the calls that we're getting now are basically to tell us that we're not doing it right, and that takes up a lot of our time to even respond to that. I appreciate of course, I appreciate their interest. I don't want that's why I keep giving these interviews. I don't want people to stop thinking about these kids, and I don't want it to become a dead issue, and we stop looking. But I would like the focus to be on finding the kids. What can you give us that we can tangibly follow up on to find these children? To call us up and criticize, that we're not doing a good job, or we should be talking to someone else, or we should be doing this, or we should be doing that. It's not productive. It's not productive, and it takes time because we try to be respectful and kind to anybody that calls. But just remember, the focus should be on finding the kids, not telling us how to do our job. So that would be my biggest request. To keep your eyes and ears open. If you find anything we can follow up on, please call. Please call. We will follow up, I promise. And we have on each and every one of these tangible leads. But to just call us up and criticize us and ask us why we're not doing our job, that just takes a lot of time, and it's taking away the focus from the kids.
Okay. Well, thank you, Chief, for meeting up with me today.
Welcome. Thank you again for having me on. I want to keep the story out there, and I appreciate you guys doing that for me.
Okay, so that was the end of that. So, a lot of things happen here, and people ask about the fire in the backyard of Trizel's parents' house, the grandparents. I spoke about this fire, and everybody's caught up on the fire. If there was a child's body burned inside a huge fire inside a backyard in California, in Bakersfield, they have a 1,400 member police department. The fire department has their own fire police, and they're called fire marshals. So when you have a large fire, not only does the fire department respond, but the battalion chief of that fire department is required to make notification to a fire marshal who investigates any type of criminality in fires. So we're getting caught up on the fire that was burnt on a freeway or out in the backyard. Um, these are professionals, and like the chief just said, for people to call them and say, "Hey, you're not doing your job right. You don't know what you're doing." If you're some armchair detective or some person that's home that thinks that you know CSI from watching uh, shows on TV, you're sadly mistaken. That these guys are doing hundreds of thousands of man hours behind the scenes. Okay, hundreds of thousands of man hours behind the scenes, and for us to sit there and say, "Hey, you're not doing your job, and you should do this or you should do that," it's just taken away from it. Come in with, uh, you know, tips and evidence or leads that are substantial, not something that's a rumor. It's not something that, I think this, like he said in this interview, we can't go out and check on leads that we think happen. You know what I mean? So let's reel ourselves in and realize that this is about the boys. It's about finding the boys. It's not about spreading rumors. It's not about spreading misinformation. And anything that I've told you here on this channel comes from a law enforcement perspective. I did the police job for 20 years in the New York City Police Department. So I bring on professionals. I'm going to have um, Mark from the class kids foundation. Polyclass's father, Mark, is going to come on my channel, and he's going to talk about how to search and how they do the things that they do and the way they help people. And I'm going to talk to him about what he thinks happened in this case and what he feels could be a good direction for people in the community, for people that are on the ground. What are some of the things that you could do that are productive instead of dividing and fighting amongst each other and having arguments about silly stuff? When it comes down to it, you got to leave the investigation to the professionals. And at the end of it all, we regular civilians who know nothing about investigations, we need to try to support and get behind the people who are going to make the collar and are going to bring in the bad guy or bad gal or bad people who are involved in these type of crimes. And this is what we need to focus on. We need to reel ourselves in and stop fighting and stop arguing with each other. When we lose focus on what the real issue is. And the real issue is two boys, Orrin and Orson West, sincere and classic, 3 and 4 years old. They're outstanding. We don't know what happened to them. And the chances are, with the amount of time that's gone by, that something not good happened to them. And this police chief is being transparent. He's making himself available to the media. He's talking. He's making himself available to people. Most of the people, like Jamie from Cal City, she told me, this guy is approachable. You can go up to him and hug him. Can you go, for my friends that are here in the New York area, can you go to the New York City Police Department and go to the police chief and hug him? If you tried to go to the police chief and hug him, you'd get tackled and arrested. Um, th- our police chief is not, Dermot Shea, is not available to the public. This guy, John Walker, is pretty much made himself available to the public. He answers the phone, he picks the phone up. I mean, come on. What more could you want? We all want a lot of other answers answered, questions answered. I mean, we want a lot of questions answered. But at the end of the day, the integrity of the investigation, he has to keep some of the stuff close to the vest. If he releases the 911 call, you're going to blow the case. If he releases pertinent information that we as regular people have no idea what it means to a prosecution, he releases that information, he's responsible for fudging up the case. And the last thing the police chief wants to do is fudge up the case. He's already dispelled all of the false rumors that Bakersfield has got nothing to do with it. I know most of you have heard videos out there from other people saying, "Oh, Bakersfield's doing nothing. Nobody's helping. The FBI is not helping. Kern County's not helping. This one's not helping." This man just told you on a video that he has help from outside resources. Bakersfield, the FBI, Kern County. Kern County has an unbelievable search and rescue. They are desert search certified. They have all the equipment and all the vehicles to search in the Mojave Desert and all the area that Kern County encompasses, 8,000 square miles of, you know, homes and desert. He's got them on board, you know. So, um, yeah, I mean, we need to just put down the negativity and be positive and get behind the authorities and stop trying to bash them and knock them down. You know, that's what we need to do. Okay. Fudging up an investigation is something that no investigator wants to do. No detective, no police chief, no police professional, no executive wants to mess up an investigation because then you have a lot of explaining to do. So Chief John Walker is doing the best that he can with the situation that he has in front of him. And do we want more? Yeah, we want more. But you're not going to get more by being negative about it, by throwing shade all over the place. And for those of you who don't like the police, for those of you who hate the police and don't like the police, then this is probably not a place for you. You won't get your you won't get to let your hair down and bash the police here in my live stream because if I see it, I'm going to block you because the police are putting their lives on the line day in and day out for strangers. And you know, like I said, I'm not for you and you're not for me. That's for sure. You know? So I'm asking, I'm begging that people on the ground in Cal City and in Bakersfield, you need to unite together, not fight. We need to unite together, come together as one, and things in volume, searches, grid patterns, searching with precision, not searching the same places over and over again, but searching with precision, writing things down, getting a search grid, getting a website or some kind of program where you can mark off this has been searched, this has been searched, so you can cover the maximum amount of ground. And that's some of the things I'm going to talk to Mark Class about. You know, his daughter Polly Class was murdered, taken from a slumber party in the 1990s, and he dedicated his life to saving and finding children, finding kidnapped children, finding missing persons and people. And I'm going to have him on my show with his partner from the Class Kids Foundation. And I'm going to have Sergeant Bill Cannon from the retired homicide sergeant from the New York City Police Department. We're going to talk. We're going to have a conversation about Orrin and Orson and what's the best course of action. What's the most efficient way for people on the ground to search and to get some results? So I can't wait to have that. He's already committed to me. He's going to come on. It's going to be next week sometime. I'm going to release it a couple of hours before, and we will have a great conversation with him. I'm going to look at the chat, take a couple of questions real quick, but I want to say thank you to all my channel members, my Patreon supporters, and the folks who positively interact here on the live stream. You guys are tremendous. You guys are a great part of this community. I really appreciate you guys. I respect you. So let me just say quickly hello to a couple of people. Sharon Grimm, thank you so much for being here. That's false, Sharon Grimm. Let me just let you know that that is false. They are investigating patrol police officers, as I stated, and it's been proven. Patrol police officers know nothing about what the detectives do. You can ask any good detective, and he'll tell you we don't tell patrol about what we do or what type of investigations we do because you don't want that stuff to leak out. Angela, thank you for becoming a channel member. So Bakersfield is, as we heard from the chief tonight, is confirmed. They are on board. Thank you for confirming that, chief, tonight. So I just want to say a quick hello. If you are new, first time here, or even if you're returning, let me know where you're watching, city, state, or country, and we'll say a quick hello, and then we'll end this live stream. But I encourage you guys to hit the thumbs up, share the video, and talk about this case. Keep it alive, just like what the chief said. I want to you guys to put out my interviews. I want you to share my interviews. I want you to talk about this case. Talk about these boys because that's what it's about. Where are the boys? It's about them. It's not about us. It's not about the spotlight. It's about talking about this case and keeping it going. Hello from Germany. New from New Haven, Connecticut. Good to see you. Thank you. Hello, Virginia. Great to see you. Thank you. Astro Haterade. I'm glad you made it in. Welcome. Linda says, I love your channel. I love that you love it. Appreciate that. Let me get over here and highlight some of these comments if I can find them. Ontario, Canada. Wow, look at that. Pennsylvania, UK. Linda, I am tired. I've had a hell of a day and I'm exhausted. I have huge bags under my eyes. Crenshaw is here. Thank you so much for being in here. Hello, Crenshaw. Let's see, Connecticut. We got Flushing, Michigan, Indiana. Wow, look at all these people. Thank you, guys. All for the boys. You guys are all here for the boys. It's not about any of us. It's about the boys. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Hello from Canada. Good to see you. Angela. Crystal Lake, Florida. Hello from Brazil. Nice. I love it. I love the roll call. This is what police call roll call. This is what the police call roll call. So I love it. Good to see you, Goose. There's my good friend, Goose. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Diane from across the street, my good friend. I love you. That's my neighbor. That's my friend. That's my buddy. Diane's my ride or die. We've been through a lot together, me and Diane. Let's see who else. Hello, Jeannie at DutyRon. Hubby says thank you. Thank you. Thank you, hubby. Shelby, you're famous, DutyRon. No, I am not. Hello, fellow New Yorker. Linda Dodrill. Good to see you. Thanks. Josh is here. Okay. I think we got the point. There's a lot of people from everywhere. Holy cow. As I like to say, holy holy I'm using the S and the F word. Holy Maddie Boy Sully from New York City. Beth from Bloomington. MC's Audio is here. When are you coming on my show? You got to talk to my agent. Josh is my agent. You got to talk to my agent. Let's see. What else have we got going on here? Yeah, we got to stick together, man. We have to band together because united we stand, divided we fall. And it's very true. You know, that's a cliche statement, right? United we stand, divided we fall. But it is so freaking true. It is so true. And I could say you, 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 you. But that's the truth, man. And that gets us nowhere. All of that mother and all that cursing and all of that divisiveness gets nothing done. It gets a whole bunch of bullshit done. So let's keep it positive. Let's try to work together. Let's try not to break each other, break each other down and point fingers. Let's do what we can I'm from across the country. I'm on the other side of the United States. I'm not anywhere near California, but if I lived in California close by in a drivable in like a driving distance, I would be offering my assistance. You could bet your bottom dollar. And Diane B can tell you. Answer in the chat, Diane, if you can. Would I be out there helping if I could? She knows me 26 years, Diane. So I would definitely be there helping. There's no doubt. Chelsea says cursing is all right. So I could say, go yourself. I didn't mean that to you, obviously. But let's see. Where's Dookie 4000? Where is she? I would be there every night. That is the truth. I'm going to leave that up on. There's Diane. Okay, so let's wrap it up with, like I always like to do, God bless the world, God bless the United States of America, and God bless each and every one of us. But most importantly, God bless all the crime victims and the folks that are out there looking for justice for their families. Let's send them strength and prayers and positivity, because people that these cases we speak about, they watch these videos. Let's give them the strength and love that they deserve, the biological family. Let's not break them down. Let's lift them up. Let's hope and pray for sincere and classic Orrin and Orson West to be brought home, however that might be. Let's bring them home and get closure so we all together, holding hands, can move on. And that's what this is about. Let's not ever forget that. We need to get through this all together because we're all hurting. But think about it. If you're hurting and we're hurting, think about how much they are. And that's what all good police professionals keep in mind, is the families. We fight for closure for the family. All right, guys. Good night from New York City. Love and respect. Consider subscribing and sharing this video. I will talk to you on the next one. And again, mark class from the Class Kids Foundation next week. You're not going to want to miss that one. It's going to be a good one. I'll talk to you soon, guys. Peace.